And it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. He's going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader, Vic. Once again, back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side. Is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW? Good evening, everybody. How you're doing? It's me, Mr. Flynn. We're back with ACC round number 5 here at the wonderful circuit of Valencia. A total of 14 corners and 3 sectors as per usual. Overtaking today is going to be absolutely on fire, on point, and absolutely easy. On board right now with Lucas, car number 999 in the Nissan. Go a little bit wide there, but we've still got 4 minutes of practice to go, and then we'll get into a quick qualifying and then into 1 hour of racing here. There's a wonderful circuit. Of course, a few more things to note. Blue flagged rules have been announced by the ACC lots, so make sure to go and read that in the rule book itself. And as well, there is a mandatory pit stop today as it's 1 hour of racing, so make sure to get your pit stops in and don't leave it to the last minute and don't leave it too late. Yes, like I said, 4 minutes, bit of practice, and then we'll get into qualifying, and we'll go from there really. So just literally, you know, scrolling through the field, seeing who's on track, what everybody's up to. I'm all with Darkness, a Wowzer Bowser, and that awesome high spec livery, one of my all-time favorites for this season so far. So I'll keep our eyes peeled and see how Darkness gets on today. We've also got Spinner out on the track, known as Jake, and that wonderful 757 Motorsport livery, car number 7, making his way around the final corner of number 14 and heading towards turn 1 once again, but actually he's going to peel into the pit lane as these point makers are making some potential setup changes or anything like that at all. I know we have Mr. Viper Strikes Racing today and Suffocating. They're both, I believe, chilling in the pit lane. Or are they? Yeah, they're both chilling in the pit lane, but their liveries, for some reason, haven't synced on my end. Which isn't ideal, but we've got, I believe... they aren't synced. This is weird. An odd one. I might have to quickly resync them. How long we got? We've got 2 minutes. Right then, guys. I'm going to put you back on the screen quickly. I'm going to get my liveries resynced because for some reason they haven't worked. And I'll be right back. Apologies for this, but I promise you I will not be too long. Right, we're just getting back into the lobby now, and I have resynced the liveries, so hopefully they're working, and you'll be able to see them. So I don't know why they didn't sync first time, but fingers crossed when we get back into the lobby. It should all be sorted. I should have fixed it, and we can watch an awesome qualifying format and then get an hour of racing around this wonderful circuit. Just bear with a few mementos, and then we'll get started at Valencia. Here we go. Please, pretty please work. I do love loading times. They feel like they take forever. Here we go, we're back in, and they might have worked, they might have not worked. We made it just in time as well for qualifying, which is quite lucky if I say so myself. But let's have a look and let's go. That's better. And have syncing deliveries that I've done, have they worked? Yes, they have. They have worked indeed. And we have a lovely purple livery. Mr. Viper is running today. His teammate as well. Can't really see what he's running because he seems to be disappeared and hidden in the background, but hopefully we'll get to see his livery as well. But like I said, we've got a few more drivers still out on the circuit, so let's just go on board with someone, I don't know, random. We'll go on board with car 32, James in the BMW. That livery looking fairly clean and absolutely amazing, making his way now around turn number 14 to round up the practice here, and crosses the line, and that'll be his practice done. What's his lap time? Goes to P9, 3 seconds off the pace. It's a 1 minute 34.645, and now it's the moment of truth, and the excitement builds. It's into qualifying. Here we go. Into qualifying. Everybody's ready, and wow, we've already got drivers on the circuit. So, first out on track is Kenzo, car number 9 in that wonderful Porsche. I've absolutely loved the Porsche that's this season for Phoenix, because it just looks so clean, it looks so nice, it just goes so well mixed together. As someone goes up the inside there, and he's actually let 2 cars through, and I believe that was his teammate, and then a McLaren slipped on through. I'm not too sure. Or no, it was a Ferrari. My apologies. That was car number 20. I want to say it was 29. It was indeed. It was Uzbi being a little bit cheeky and making his way by the Porsche. So he'll now be the driver ahead of everybody else to start a lap here at Valencia and see how he gets on and what kind of lap time he can do in that Ferrari. He's a bit pacey this season, I will say, and the championship fight also quite close. We'll get into that later on in qualifying if it's looking a little bit quiet. And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today. Uzbi, though, could be feeling the pressure because that Porsche behind him has really not backed off. And now he's backed off a little bit, but not by much. So Uzbi might feel the pressure a little bit here. And the Porsche behind him will be very happy because he's getting a very lovely tow. Making our way down to turn number 1 as the Aspar corner now. Flat out section, maybe a little bit of a lift. You can exceed track limits quite a bit here. And obviously those two doing it to perfection. The car behind as well doing it to perfection. And definitely not invalidating on that one. But obviously Uzbi leading the way at the moment in the Ferrari in qualifying in the first sector into the first couple of corners. So far keeping it valid, keeping it calm, and doing some really perfect corners really. So still on board with the Ferrari, heading towards the second sector fairly shortly now. Saying that already in the second sector, making his way now out to turn number 6, heading towards turn number 7. And then turn number 8. I raced this track, I believe, back in season number, I want to say 8. And this corner here where Uzbi is now, I struggle so much. I just don't understand how they can keep the car a little bit straight, brake at the same time, and make the corner. I do that, and I snap left or I snap right, or I just spin around, do a pirouette, and just doesn't go well. But on the exit, turn number 11, heading towards turn number 12 now. A bit of an interesting corner, may I say, where you can go completely off like the Porsche has, and Kenzo getting around his teammate now, and we'll see what Kenzo can do as he crosses the line very shortly. Never mind, that wasn't Kenzo, that was an Aston Martin, I believe, behind Uzbi, and we'll see what the Aston Martin can do. So as Uzbi crosses the line, it's going to be a benchmark of a 1 minute 31.847. Can the Aston Martin, however, beat him to the top? No, he can't, because he's invalidated, so he's going to go on another attempt to push. Lily goes to the top of the leaderboard now. It's a 131.677. We had the Porsche in the background, and it was Kenzo going by his teammate, currently P4, a 1 minute 33.192. Kelly slots into P3, a 1 minute 32.870. Lots of lap times peeling in right now. Webby, a 133.822. Spinner, a 134.495. Darkness, a 134.497. So a lot of drivers in the 133s, the 134s, as we have the Nissan go to top of the leaderboards right now. Car number 999, a 1 minute 31.445 is Altosis. However, Ackerman, is he able to contender and go for the top in that wonderful, lovely McLaren, racing under the name of Team Rocket, car number 23. Currently, their lap time is unfortunately invalidated, making their way through Sector 3, however, Sector 2, sorry, towards Sector 3 very, very shortly, heading out of turn number 6 towards 7 and 8, and most of the cars are moving out of the way, and we'll see what Altosis can do on the next attempt a lap, as this one will not count. So we could go on board of Brown, who's been a bit of a surprise this season. He's been going to the top of the leaderboard quite a lot, and he does again. P5, 9/10 off of P1. He's on a cracking lap time of a 132.435. Mega soft there for the Aston Martin, racing under Formula Racing League. Absolutely wonderful. We're going to get James on board of him now. Car number 32 as the top of 12 is constantly switching left, right and centre. And as we're on board with James, anybody else improving on their lap times? Nissan is. Uzbe's unfortunately invalidated. Altosis, as we said, is going to be on another quick lap to try and see what they can do. We're going to keep our eyes peeled for the leaderboard, and Frederick once again, known as Lucas, car number 999 across the line. He's improved quite a bit, to be honest. He's on a 130.990, the only driver to be in the 130. Can anybody else creep into the 130s? We'll have to find out very, very shortly. James, however, still, I believe, valid on this lap time. 1.6 up on the pace right now. Absolutely incredible right there. And right now, making his way through the final corner of turn number 14. And he'll make his way to the line very, very shortly. Where's this one? I'm going to put him on the leaderboard. He almost does creep over track limits, manages to keep it on the track and not over track limits. He crossed the line. He'll go to P17, 3 seconds off the pace, but it's a 134.1, and he'll be very pleased and happy with that one. Back on board then with Webby in that wonderful Stake ACC team livery. Zach Webb making his way out to turn 14. A little bit of a slide there. Probably a bit too early on the throttle, on the power, to the line. What's it going to be? Is it an improvement? Is he going to creep his way up the order? And that's going to be a no. He does improve. He does a 132.257. Still stays, though, P7. His teammate, however, Goodland, down in P23, yet to set a lap time. We'll see how he gets on. Suffocating. Down in P16, he's on a lap time of a 1 minute 33.457. So, like I said, we're seeing a lot of the 32s, the 33s, and now we're seeing a lot of the 34s. Right. Go on board with car number 886, a bit of a train, a bit of a trail of cars behind actually, as he makes his way out turn 6, heading to 7 and 8. Currently 2/10 up on the pace. Uzbe, however, currently P6, 3/10, almost 4/10 up on the pace. This could be an incredible lap time to make his way up the grid order, even so more, as Ackerman goes P2, a 131.142. Uzbe creeps up to P3, a 131.247. It is all going on. Drivers really starting to find pace on this circuit. Track is ramping up. Lap times are getting quicker, getting hotter. Absolutely fantastic. Here he goes then. Car number 886 surrounds the final corner of turn number 14. Quite high up on their delta. This could be an incredible improvement. Probably into the top 10, however. And it's going to be P9. Absolutely fantastic. A 132.250. Mr. GG Land. How we doing? Long time no see. Indeed, buddy. How are you? And, yeah. Not ideal to have a quali ban, if I say so myself. Definitely not ideal. Well, GG, I'm glad I can make your day. Apologies about that. Just have a bit of a cold still. And trying to recover. Amar, car number 15. Very high up on their delta as well. They crossed the line. And unfortunately, don't improve on the lap time, but they're currently P10. A very good starting grid position at the moment here at Valencia. Someone in the background peels into the pit lane. And I believe that was Jake Spinner. It was indeed. Being a little bit cheeky there, but getting in the pit lane. And there we have it. There he is. That wonderful livery. And he returns to the garage. So, with lap times coming in, and as we all know, it will get quicker as the session gets closer towards the end and 9 minutes to go. A drive-through also, that is shattering, and may I say, unfortunate and definitely not ideal. But like I said, with lap times coming in ever so quicker, someone else shot to the top, I believe. Someone did. Wasn't Ackerman. It might have been Oosby. Might have been. I'm not too sure. But fortunately, we missed that one. But we'll try and keep our eyes peeled as Suffocating now crosses the line. They're going to go high up on the Delta, high up on the leaderboard. Hopefully, they're going to be 13. It's a 1 minute 32.557. This is quite a close grid for Valencia, if I say so myself. 1.937 from P17 to P1. That is very, very close in my opinion. Exciting things. Exciting what we're seeing right now. But yes, as we said, qualifying is happening. Things are happening. But most of all, the championship. Right. So I've been told by the wonderful Artosis that it is fairly close, and it is very, very close. So, you know how, last season it was quite a gaggle of cars. This season, it's more than a gaggle of cars. It goes from P4 to P1. That's how close the championship is this season. It's absolutely crazy. So we're going to go on board with a driver to take us around this wonderful circuit. Let's go on board with Brown in the Aston Martin, making their way through Sector 1 into the first couple of corners. Whilst they are, have a bit of a chit-chat, shall we, about Ackerman. He's on 154 points, followed by Julian in P2, 152. So they aren't separated by much at all. And then you got Canton in P3 on 142 points. You got Oosby on 140. So fairly close. You then got Matthew Lee creeping his way up ever so slowly on 100 points. So he's a little bit far off from where Oosby, Ackerman, Julian and Canton are. But if he has a few more good races after this round, it'll be 5 more rounds to go. Have a good few rounds, and he could creep himself up the grid order ever so slightly to potentially being the Drivers' Championship. We'll have to find out. Constructor standings, we'll get to that in just a second, because I want to see what this Aston Martin or Brown can do. Still within track limits, not high up on the Delta though. They seem to have lost all that time, making their way out of turn 12 actually. On the exit they were turn number 14, and unfortunately they don't find improvement on their Delta at all. Got more to Kelly, down in P12, that's across the line in that Mountain Dew livery. Where are they going to go? I believe that's Lily in the background. We'll keep an eye on them to see where they go. And Lily goes up to P5, a 131.327. Kelly, however, a 132.135 goes to P number 9. That Nissan back on track once again, making their way around turn 14 now. And they're high up on their Delta, improving again ever so slightly. Going to go a little bit quicker, get a tow from that Lamborghini as well. And now on a 130.887. It's anybody, and I mean anybody, going to be able to contend for this pole position. There's a few cars do go quite wide there on the exit. Oh my goodness. Turn 1, the Aston Martin almost collecting the Nissan there. Could have been a bit of an impact there, and could have been a penalty coming that way. must say though, normally we had Ackerman, who was quite good in qualifying and very competitive, but so far this season he's gotten close. And then obviously you got the Nissan starting to dominate, Oosby starting to dominate a little bit, and other drivers starting to creep in towards the end of qualifying. Day by day, it looks like Altosis can't get anywhere near the top where he used to be, so maybe he's feeling the pressure a little bit on the championship, which if he is, then that's fairly interesting. Right then, on board with Silver Motorsport, car number 12. Oh my, going way too wide, and that's definitely going to be an invalidation, unfortunately, in that McLaren. And let's switch to Kelly on a lap. What about Lily? Where's Lily? They're behind Kelly. Brown, they're also behind that pack of drivers. So we'll go back on board with Kelly in sector 2, making their way through turn number, that's going to be 11 to now what? No, not turn 11. Where am I? Ah, here we go. We're at turns number 9 and 10. Then we come to the famous corner where I always struggle. Turn number 11, making their way now to turn number 12. Fairly high up on the Delta. Kelly, I want to see them in person in the top 10, because Kelly this season, they've been in the top 10, and then it's been, you know, the top 15, and then it's been in the 20s and not making any progress whatsoever, so definitely not ideal. So Kelly having a very good qualifying session so far. They crossed the line, and it won't be any improvement. As an unfortunate invalidation, they go off, Lily goes off, and those two are definitely going to return to the garage. Zach Webb, however, currently in P8. High up on the Delta, we can see they made their way into P8, of course. They're not a second anymore, they're 9/10 away from P1. Obviously, it's very nice to see, but have invalidated on this particular lap time. So, last season, he was quite decent, I'd say. Because, as we all know, some of you may or may not know, I believe it was Spa. I can't remember what track it was. It might have been Spa. Webby got his first maiden P3 in qualifying, and then it just didn't go very well in the race itself. Fortunate there, but he's got another chance. He's got another challenge ahead of him for today, and if he keeps within track limits, keeps it nice and calm and collected, he could potentially make his way up the grid order to the top 5 if he keeps this lap valid and finds a delta and pace that he requires and what he needs. In sector 2 now, car number 13 making their way around turn number 6, heading towards now 7 and 8. You want to try and be late on the brakes as possibly as you can. Maybe brake a little bit earlier so late on the brakes. Depends what you like really, because you want to coast and lift around that corner. A bit of a jitter there, just unbalancing the car ever so slightly. Then you want to go into like a bit of a straight line trail braking system, if that makes sense, and then hard on the right hander as you can. Get on the power, make your way now to turn 12. You can slightly go flat out here, but you have to lift ever so slightly. A little bit of a braking if you want to. And Zach Webb currently down on their Delta. They were quite high up, but of course they've lost it completely. All of that time in sector 2, in sector 3, making their way around the final corner, and it's going to be a slam dunk invalidation. A minute and 20 to go of qualifying. He's got one more chance, one more shot to do it, and actually no, he's going to bail, and that is him done and dusted for qualifying, unfortunately. Right, him done and dusted. Well, what a Julian in the Lamborghini. Making his way to the start and finish now to complete this lap time. Not up much on the Delta, but it's a 131.192, and he'll go for the final time here in qualifying around Valencia. Let's see what he can do, shall we? We do have the Nissan finding some time. We also have Ackerman finding a little bit of tenths, thousandths on the circuit. Look at that lovely shot by Lamborghini. Absolutely fabulous and absolutely fantastic. Right then, we're going to switch to Ackerman just for a second, because he's in sector 2, making his way around the banker of turn number 11, heading towards turn 12 now, and He was about a tenth, half a tenth up on his pace, up on his delta, and unfortunately he's lost it all, and he's found it again, but it isn't going to be enough to snatch away pole position, but could take Oosby out the window here to take away P2. So we'll find out on the final corner. Big slide there from McLaren. Is going to be across the line for the final time here, and it's no improvement for Ackerman. They'll stay P3. They did cross the line though, just in the nick of time, I believe, so they could go for one more chance, one more dash, and see what they can do. Arc down in P16, car number 88, Mountain Dew livery, same as Kelly, both teammates this season, rounding turn number 11 to head to turn 12, 2 tenths on the delta right now, could be 3 tenths, making his way out 12, and it's going to be a whopping number of 4 tenths now, almost 5 tenths. It is actually going to creep up to 5 tenths. He has found a lot of time making his way out turn 12 into the final corner then of turn number 14, currently P16. Are they going to go higher up on the grid? I believe they will, and I believe they do. They cross the line now, and it's going to be P13 for the Ferrari driver. 1.2 off the pace, a very close qualifying, a 1:32.097, and no one is able to beat the Nissan, who's chilling in the pit lane right now. His fastest best lap time, a 1:30.807. Oosby 2 tenths off the pace with a 1:31.097, and Ackerman, out of all the people, 3 tenths off the pace, a 1:31.142. So we'll get into the race very, very shortly. Go and grab a drink, go and grab a snack, get yourselves ready for an hour racing around Valencia with dry conditions, no rain to be expected for this circuit. And of course, we will be back for some awesome racing action. Of course, I think we've got around about 5 minutes, just so they can get their fuel calculations in, get their setup changes in if they want to make any changes to the setup, and then we'll just go from there. And there we have it. Drive-through penalty for car 666. That's going to be, of course, I believe, is Goodland. It is indeed a drive-through as well. Yikes. Not what you want to see, and definitely not what you want to have. We're going to play a quick promo, and then we'll be right back. It'll literally be, what, a 30-second promo, and we'll be right back and chat, see what the predictions are, and then chat about the standings and constructors and go from there, really. Ka-chow! And it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. We're going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader. Vic, once again, back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side. Is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW? There we go. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And big shout out to Sinead for making that lovely, awesome highlights from last season. And I do recall that I said season 8 is where I raced this circuit. Just an update, minor error, minor fraction I made. It was actually season 7 I raced around this track at Valencia, and like I said, always struggled in turn 11 and 12. Don't know why it was, but it just is. So yeah, just not a strong and confident easy track for myself. But let's forget about that and talk about the constructor standings, because everything is so close this season. Absolutely crazy. I say it's close. The drivers' standings, as we talked about earlier, is quite close. The team standings, not for Team Rocket, they are 202 points away, and Italian Stallions 147. So Team Rocket have got a fairly big chunk of a gap at the moment, and then it's going to be Garage 3.1, 94 points in total. And then you got the unspectating duo in P4, 80 points, no shows, 62 points, Bean Boys Racing, don't know what it is, but I absolutely love that name, 32 points, Jolly Racing Inc., 21 points, Stake ACC Team, 18 points, then we have Mobile Chicanes, 2 points, and then the final one right down at the bottom of the constructors is King Racing, 0 points. There you go. There you have it. What is everybody's predictions in the chat for race today? Please do let me know. And if there's any strategy calls, what are they? And as well, we'll get this up. Oh, I'll just press drive first.
20 seconds.
Right. Not long till green flag racing. 10 seconds to go. Of course, won't be racing straight away. Will be a good old fashioned, as we all know, formation lap. Lucas will lead the way then. Focus on with the Nissan. Go. Nissan entering turn 1 down to turn 2. Look at that train. Look at that slithering snake of cars. Lots and lots of drivers on the grid tonight. Round about 23 drivers. Could you believe it? I wonder who's going to get the better launch. The Nissan has been quite good this season, defending his P1 spots. But Usby, however, and Ackerman, very competitive and very, very good at their race starts. Fairly good qualifying session as well for Zach Webb once again. Finds himself down in P9. Hopefully no bottles today for them. Had a bit of an interesting season today. Right. As we can see, all the cars now in a double formation line, making their way down to the start and finish. Once again, there will be Lucas leading the field to green flag racing for round number 5 here at the circuit of Valencia, overtaking fairly easy. It's green flag racing here at Valencia, and it's a very good start between Nissan. Altosis in the background looking for a very opportunic move, but isn't able to, but will get ahead of Uzbi down into turn 1. Slight bodgy contact between those two. Hopefully they don't take each other out like they normally do. The Lamborghini in the background trying to get past Lily trying to say, no, I'll get back at you, and they're currently side by side as we go to the back of the grid of where those two are fighting right now, making their way to what is it, turn number 3 or 4 and 5 now is where we shall be. Some cars in turn 3, but we're now entering turn number 5, getting a little bit confused, a little bit lost where I am on track at the moment. Gonna let the standing thing sort itself out, which it should do fairly shortly. Once again, a very good start and launch by the Nissan in a way in P1. Uzbi with some excellent defending, defends P2. Ackerman just slots into P3 like he normally was, tried to go for P2, but Uzbi shutting the door and saying, no way, you're not getting by, and just like that, stays in P2. Some moves about to happen in the background. Arc getting very close to Kenzo for a fight for P12. That one's happening fairly at the back of the grid. Wilson as well getting involved as moves are happening, gaining, losing. It's all changing at the back of the field. Absolutely crazy. But it could be this one. Amar getting around for P at number 7 and saying that goes way too deep and could lose 1, but 2, maybe even 3 positions as we make our way down to turn 1. Zach Webb, unfortunately, down into P10, not having the best of starts at the first lap of racing here. And the Porsche trying to defend against the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin's going to send it down the inside at turn 1. Does he get the move done? He does indeed. Amar trying to fight Brown, but Brown saying, no, I'm back. Oh, there's contact. And once again, Zach Webb is spun around and heads towards the back of the grid. He'll be fuming at that one. He'll want to know what on earth has just happened. Kenzo getting involved with drivers left, right and centre on the track, losing multiple positions, dropping down to P number 12, and that's going to be car number 8 trying to get past Kenzo, but Kenzo coming back at him to fight for P11, but has to concede for P12 at best for now. But Zach Webb definitely kicking himself at that one because he just won't be happy. I will tell you right now, he will be fuming. Fuming a lot, shall I say? Oh, there's even more carnage and more drivers spinning around. And that's Arc round in P18, just sitting there waiting for all the cars to pass before he pulls back onto the track. And we're going to get a look at some replays in just a second and see what on earth is going on here. And what is with the minor fraction of errors with drivers around this circuit tonight. On board with Jake Spinner down in P16. Could get a move here for P15. Going on board with the famous... Let's go on board with June and go on board the wing cam, because everyone this season is absolutely loving that camera angle. Because there we go, Jake Spinner pulling to the left hand side, was looking for a move into turn 1, isn't able to get it done at this moment in time in that Ferrari. As we know, the Ferrari's got some insane straight line speed. The cornering though, cornering speed isn't the best, but look at the way Jake Spinner is just able to get a better exit than that McLaren. I said corners weren't great, but if you get them right in the Ferrari, they can be insane. He's now up into P15. What a stellar move that was. Absolutely fantastic. He's now going to chase down P number 14, who would be Darkness. 1.3 is the gap. Wilson in P10 at the moment, trying to fight for P9. And the front of the field all separated by a second to 1.9 to 2 seconds. Because Ackerman isn't able to gain on Uzbi. Uzbi, however, is able to gain on the Nissan for now. With an interesting field tonight. Pace-wise, different on the track elsewhere. That's what we like to see. Making our way up to Lily now. Literally on the gearbox at Ackerman. Ackerman not having the pace at the moment. or just struggling, or maybe chilling on his tyres a bit, but not what you want to be doing at Valencia, with overtaking being possible left, right and centre. Heading towards turn number 1, Lily literally riding that gearbox almost, and yeah, not close enough to go for the move at this moment in time, but we'll see how they do in sector 1. Are they looking a bit more confident and a bit more quicker than Ackerman? Shall I say? Do indeed. But Ackerman just pulling ever so slightly outward turn 4 and 5. Heading towards turn 6 now. If you get this one right, it could be quite a good exit, and a straight line speed is very, very useful here. But they seem to be on similar pace, similar exit wise, and no one close enough to go for a dive or go for a silly move in those sequence of corners. That's Kelly making his way up into P17 now. Did start in the top 10, but I believe did get punted round or just off track somewhere, and making his way up the grid slowly, getting past car number 4. He'll be very happy with that one. Jake Spinner. Oh, is that contact? He's off again with Darkness. Have those two once again tangled up with a fairly incident or unfair incident. Again, we'll see what happens. But wow, there's someone else off track as well. Was that McLaren off? Not too sure who that is, and Darkness does bail off and go off track, and does get that position to Spinner for P16. He just go a little bit wide there on turn 12 right then. I would say everything's calming down just a bit, but Brown right on the gearbox of car number 886, and they're not having the best of battles right now, because they're under humongous pressure from Brown. Down and dive in sector 1. Like I said, where we're going to see overtakes most potentially, and almost a dive into 2 and 3. Almost got the move done, but just wasn't close enough and didn't have the best of exits to get it done. Wilson in the background trying to get a move sorted, and Ark now making his way up to P number 19, getting past car 12, I believe that was, and they'll be happy with that one. Wow. Absolutely stellar. Absolutely excellent. And someone glued to the gearbox of Wilson right now is car number 8, currently P11. Might try and go for a dive. And he was thinking to go around the outside, but thought better not to. In the Porsche. I'm not too sure how the Porsche is on this game. Never really driven it. Mainly drive the Ferrari and the McLarens. But enough about that, because Brown on the gearbox of car number 886, turn 12. He got a very good exit. Hit the apex very, very nicely there. Turn number 14. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Who's going to get the better exit? It could be the Aston Martin. It could be, however, the Ferrari with better straight line speed. We'll go on board with car 886. We'll go on board with the wing cam. And that straight line speed advantage is going towards the Aston Martin. He's going to probably pull to the left-hand side. He does indeed. Back on board with the TV camera. They're going to go wheel to wheel at turn 1. Nice and cleanly. And that's Brown up into P7. And the car behind him demoted to P number 8. James, however, P18, P17. Darkness ahead of him. Very close to him. Has a bit of a twitchy moment and does slightly go off track. Stays within track limits, however. Isn't able to get past Darkness just yet. Almost hits the rear end of that BMW, but just able to keep it out of the walls and keep it out of the way. But now we've got Ark making his way around the outside, it seems, of turn 4 and 5. We don't normally see overtakes mainly happen at this part of sector 1. However, Ark gonna try and glue it, gonna try and stick it, making our way into turn number 6. He's ahead of the BMW up into, what is it, P number 18, and Zach Webb right behind him, P20. We want to get a position on this BMW as soon as possible, but the BMW looks like has better straight line speed, trying to capitalise and get back on the Ferrari, which just isn't able to at the moment, and we're concealed for P19. Right. It's replay time. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I don't know what happened there. As you can see, on board with these drivers up above, I clicked a button, and it changed to P5. Absolutely fantastic. We're on board with Julian in the Lamborghini, and they're all fairly close, and a little bit of a, you could say, bit of a train going on between these 5 drivers. Or should I say 4 drivers? Looks like I can't count tonight. Definitely not ideal. And Julian under pressure from the driver behind of Canton in that Ferrari. The Ferrari fighting with P5. Julian trying to fight the 2 drivers ahead for P4, potentially P3, but got pressure behind. So see how we get some of that one. We're going to have a look at a replay between these 2. Because they caused a bit of havoc and caused a bit of contact. And let's see what happens. So Darkness breaks early. Oh, he just breaks. Interesting. Brakes on the corner. Bit too much. And Spinner thinking he'll lift around this corner. Nowhere to go. Straight into the back of him. And could somewhat have damage. And now Darkness trying to defend from this BMW driver of car number 32 of James. And they're going to go wheel to wheel. Try not bash wheels. Try and keep it clean. Almost come together. That was very, very close. And Darkness, well, you could say, unfortunately, spinning round and dropping to P21. And Zach Webb and who is that? Viper gaining a free position from that spin of Darkness. Darkness, though, will be able to capitalise and get back to where he was currently, because mistakes can creep in and happen to the drivers ahead of him. Oh my goodness, the Ferrari Canton was looking for a very desperate dive and a very desperate time of moves down at turn 4. Has to concede back into P6, but almost got that lovely move done for P5 on Julian. But Julian able to stay ahead and defend off for now. Well, that was very, very close. And that could have ended badly if there was contact. Right, Spinner making his way up to P16 now, getting past Arc, I believe. And now he has a Porsche ahead of him, which is Kenzo, I believe. Car number 9, and that Porsche isn't looking fairly quick in a straight line and does go very, very wide there on the exit at turn number 6, heading towards now 7 and 8. We'll see if Spinner could potentially get a move done, and we'll go to the top of the field just for now, as Julian is right on the gearbox of Ackerman, and Ackerman unfortunately losing out to Lilly, and those 2 switch around for 3rd and 4th. Definitely not what Ackerman needs, definitely not ideal for him. Unfortunately though, that does mean we missed that move. Not too sure when it happened on track, but there was just so much carnage happening at the bottom of the field with Darkness spinning. Contact with other drivers. There was just so much to focus on. Oh my goodness, Ackerman almost collecting Lilly there on the entrance of turn number 2, heading towards 3 and 4. That could have ended very, very badly. Spinner, however, going wheel to wheel with that Porsche for P15 down into turn 1. And the Ferrari does stay ahead and get that move easily done. P15 for Spinner. 10.6 is the gap now between himself and P14. Can he close it? Most certainly he can. We'll let him cook and let him get in the mojo, get in the pace, get in the groove. It will come back to him in just a little bit. However, the Porsche down in P number 11. Trying to get past Wilson. Wilson doing an excellent job at the moment to stay within a second of Amar ahead. Car number 15 for P9. And that Porsche at the moment isn't really catching P8. So, like I said, different pace levels happening at the circuit tonight. We could see a move here, however, between the Lamborghini and Ackerman, because the Lamborghini looked more confident on the brakes and got a fairly better exit than that McLaren. Heading towards turn 1, the Lamborghini thinking of pulling to the left-hand side. Canton copying and was thinking of doing the exact same thing, but they both weren't even close enough to get for a move. But actually, Canton might send it here down into this corner, and is very, very close to contact at turn number 2. Heading now towards 3 and 4. They're going to be wheel to wheel, side by side, still side by side. And then it's Canton on top, finally getting through into P5. Julian will not be happy that Canton managed to find his way through, but Canton having a looking a fairly good race pace and racecraft could get past Ackerman at some point in his race. The gap between himself and him is 9/10. So, not bad indeed, I say so myself. With the pace advantage he's got, I think he can fairly and most likely close. As we have Kenzo down at turn 1, trying to get back at Jake Spinner. And this could be done and dusted. And it looks like they're going to be quite close for contact. Wheel to wheel. Into turn 2. They make contact. Spinner managing to save the car. No idea where Kenzo's going there. Also making contact with the mountain delivery of Arc. Hopefully those two didn't get much damage. And big damage from that contact. Spinner, though, going very, very late on the brakes. Almost losing the back end. But trying to defend from Arc. He's going to try and take away, what is it? P number 15 away from the Ferrari. But isn't able to. Kenzo on the exit of 12 may get this move done. Will he? He will indeed. Down into turn 14. He gets it done. The switchback of dreams though. For Arc, could it be possible? No, it can't. Kenzo. Board of the bumper cam. Ignore the mirror cam at the top. But down into turn 1. Late on the brakes. Kenzo barges his way through and gets into P15. Spinner losing multiple positions there. Could actually lose out to Zach Webb, trying to avoid him. Arc getting contact from behind Jake. It's all going on. Jake losing lots and lots of positions. Now finds himself down. What is it? Down in E number 19. Not ideal. Not ideal. But still going well for some drivers, I will say. We have got Ackerman, however, starting to close in. We've got an early pit stop as well coming in from Julian in that Lamborghini, boxing already. And we'll see where he peels out. Probably going to be around about where car number 91 is. The exit at turn 14 now. Hopefully gets ahead of car number 9. They're making their way through turn 12. Down to 14 now. However, Lamborghini is coming in for their pit stop. And I don't think they'll get ahead of car 9. So they could be in a bit of danger here for a bit of traffic. Which definitely wouldn't be ideal. But a very, very early stop there for Julian. Has he got damage? Or is he just wanting to make a very, very early pit stop? If so, an interesting strategy. But more carnage happening in the top 8 right now. And that was, I believe, 886 in that Ferrari. SM Motorsport getting a position taken away from him down to P8. And that was Amar, I believe, making his way up into P7. Holy moly. Crazy. Whoa. How we doing, buddy? Yes. Some of them do, I believe. I know I use Raceline because if I don't have it on, I've got no clue where I'm going, unfortunately. Yeah, some drivers do, some drivers don't. It's a bit of a mixed grid of who does and who doesn't. Well, here we go. Zach Webb in a bit of a fight right now. At turn 12, right on the gearbox of the BMW. Currently in P16, was in the top 8 at the start of this race. Got contact, someone's round at 724. That is Darkness down in P21. Very close there between the BMW and the McLaren driver himself. Out of turn 14, however, down to turn 1. More pit stops happening. Car number 97. It's scaring me how close drivers are getting here on this track, here on this circuit. So much room for overtakes, and they're treating it as it's like Monaco. Oh, that's not ideal. That's the BMW getting spun and punted by Zach Webb, but Zach Webb showing some very good sportsmanship there and giving up the position and, you know, giving back the positions. Oh, that's nice. That's glad to hear you on the way to ACC. Hopefully see you on track soon. I know, right? Absolutely crazy. That day he got pole at Silverstone in F1 blew my mind for darkness. It really did. That's the day. That's the day he wasn't last. That is one for the history books. How we say. A day we'll never forget. Oh my goodness, a Porsche going wide out of turn number 1. And that could really give a free position to, who is that? That is car number 886. Free position in the Ferrari. Getting by, but getting past the Porsche. There you have it. Job done. Slam dunk. Easy move. I mean, just because... hard to say, really. Hard to say. I'll explain in DMs, Rabo. Send me a DM, and when I get MO, probably after the stream, I'll explain. It's quite hard to explain, you know what I mean? But we've got a car going wide there, and then once again, 886 going wide, returns the favour, and gives the position back to car 8 for the Porsche, and he now goes up into P9. Cheers, Rabo. Cheers indeed. We have James having a bit of a fight once again, and that's down in P17, fighting for P16 against Joe Viper, and his excellent defending. Oh my goodness, the BMW all over the place right now, and almost taking out Joe Viper. If he did, that would have been quite scary. However, Wilson at the end of turn 1, still behind that Porsche, hasn't been able to find a way by and go up into P7. So Wilson will be feeling the frustration a lot. And Joe Viper getting overtaken by the BMW of James. And Joe's got to really look in his mirrors here, as he was almost collected by Zach Webb. Zach Webb getting a very, very strong, shall we say, exit out of turn 1. Had to go wide to avoid Joe. And that's him up into P number 17. And now going to fight with the BMW and try and get past the BMW as quick as he possibly can. And he's going to look to go around the outside. He'll now have the inside line for the next corner of turn number 6, heading towards 7 and 8. And he gets it done. And that's him up into P16. However, Easby, the gaps were around about a second. But he's managed to somewhat close in now to a 9/10. And it is starting to close roughly lap by lap, minute by minute, second by second. And what's crazy, by Lilly overtaking Ackerman, and Ackerman struggling to get by Lilly, Lilly is kind of like being like a roadblock at the moment, because the gap between P2 and P3 is 9.4 seconds. So it's really good for the top 2 to start running away and disappear. If they disappear, it could be a spicy fight to watch for the race win, and free track position and free air and clean air most likely as well, which you really, really want to have around this circuit. We've got Kenzo all over the gearbox in the background of Kelly fighting for P number 12, but obviously isn't close enough to get done and dusted for a move. Coming through turn number 6 towards 7 and 8. Both similar, decent exits, and both chilling and not bringing too much attention to themselves. Canton now starting to close the gap. I was going to say the top 6 and top 5 were roughly looking at about a second between them, but now Canton starting to turn up the pressure, turn up the heat, and the gap between himself and Ackerman is around about 5/10, so he's really starting to put the pressure on and find the pace and turn the heat up, making their way now into sector 2 at the exit of turn 6. He's starting to come alive. He's starting to look a lot more race pacey, which we like to see, because that can mean on-track battles and carnage left, right and centre. Which, don't get me wrong, we would love to see. Right. Goodland, however, down in P17, having a drive-through penalty to serve this race and a quali ban, is now going to look for P16 on James, going for a lovely switchback, and James getting a bit worried there, a bit scared, a bit hectic, and panicking, moving out of the way. In doing so, that's George Land up into P16, and James down to 17. Once again, at the exit of turn 1, Canton close again. Isn't close enough to go for a move. Oosby, however, almost on the gearbox of that Nissan. I reckon Oosby might go for a move shortly. Darkness ahead of those two, so we'll need to get out of the way with blue flagged rules being updated. As soon as you're blue flagged, get out of the way immediately. If you do not give way immediately and you hold up these cars and do not move, you're going to get a penalty. It's going to be a very harsh penalty, I've been told. So definitely don't do that if you don't want a penalty. Making the way through 12 now. Oosby getting a good exit. Still within around about 6/10 of P1. On turn 14, we'll go on board with Darkness actually. Go on board the wing cam. He doesn't let them by straight away, which you've got to do now. And got a sneak peek of what you had to do there with the new rules on the wing cam, which I love using this season, don't get me wrong. And we now have car 8 trying to challenge Wilson for P number 8. And Ackerman actually peeling into the pit lane, going for his pit stop now. And we'll see where he bunches out to the rest of the grid. Keep our eyes peeled to Julian. Julian is a factor we want to watch this race. Also the Porsche car 8 making his way into the pit lane. But where's that Lamborghini? There he is. There is Julian. And it's going to be Ackerman still waiting in that pit lane. Julian making his way through 12. Ackerman yet to serve his pit stop. Still waiting to leave the pit lane to get a fresh set of tyres on potentially and fuel that car up. Julian, however, making his way through slowly. Turn number 14. Ackerman set to move yet. If Julian can get ahead of the McLaren, it'll be big moment here and a big chance, and he is indeed ahead of Ackerman heading into turn 1. It changes, it spices things up. It's gonna get what's the word, gonna get challenging. Not the word I was gonna say, but we'll go with challenging today. Hopefully these two don't get held up much, because the two drivers ahead of them, Viper and James, fighting really hard, and could really help the Nissan and Oosby out. However, Oosby really closing on the Nissan now. Making their way out of turn 5, down to turn 6. Get the best exit here you possibly can. 7 and 8. And, been very, very good. Very, very stable on the car. Try and be as late on the brakes into turn 11 as you can. Keep the car straight though, so you don't lose it or go sideways. Out of turn 11, and then down to turn 12, a flat out corner where you have to brake a little bit, or you just chance it and go for the lift. What's Oosby going to do? Brake a little bit, back on the power, the gap, 5/10. Multiple drivers now into the pit lane, like Lily chilling in there. If they get ahead of Ackerman, it would be a big, big moment here. But where are they? Where is Ackerman? Where is Julian? They are making their way through turn number 1. I believe they've got ahead of Lily. They're P13 making their way out of the pit lane. And oh my goodness, I didn't think they'd be this close to where they want to be. Right behind Ackerman. But Julian losing out to Ackerman and Lily. There's some big, big moments in a change of positions, which again, we missed. But there was just so much happening at the back of the field, which we had to catch on stream because it was going round and absolutely amazing. But Julian in P15, not what you want to see, and definitely not ideal after getting ahead of Ackerman after he pitted at turn 1. Closest battle on track right now is Goodland down in P10 to P9. It was a second and now it's opened up to 6/10. Ackerman, however, very, very close in the gearbox of BMW James, who's actually making his way into the pit lane. So Lily could get a nice, useful tow here and might go for the move at turn 1 if they are close enough. Let's see what they do. Heading towards turn 1, nowhere near. So just going to stick behind the rear wing of that McLaren of Ackerman and not do anything too crazy. Oosby still staying out. Those two separated just under a second, like they're glued to each other on the track. It's absolutely crazy. So now Julian can chill out just a bit. He's got a bit of free air. He's 1.1 away from Lily and Ackerman, so he can just chill a bit and try and gain back to where he is, get the momentum back to himself in the car, confidence and everything, and he should be fine. Lily, though, ahead, trying to go for the move on Ackerman, hasn't got the straight line speed to compete. Car 8886 is around on circuit. They drop down, I believe, to E17, not what you want to see. Definitely not ideal. Big yikes for that one. Right. So, Julian trying to gain where he possibly can. It's mimicking into the second and then away from a second. The top two separated by 1.2, so not a biggie. Of course, also not ideal. Do, do, do. Right. Not long until the racing action is done here at Valencia. However, we have 25 minutes, heading towards 24 minutes of racing to go. Spinner makes his way into the pit lane. P1 and P2 do not both peel into the pit lane. It's going to be the Nissan coming in, and it looks like Usby going for a lap or two dash to see if he can try and gain and somewhat get ahead of the Nissan, possibly? If so, it could be an interesting one, but we'll find out. Ackerman losing out to Julian and Lily. Ackerman not having the best of races today, it seems. I'm going to try and focus on this pack a little bit more because they seem to have their little battles and keep going off the track or going wide, and it's annoying because I keep missing them and I don't know why. We're going to try and stick and glue to this field up ahead a little bit more. But in doing so... Oh! That is a big, big crash. 3 cars involved in that. Kelly, Darkness, and Joe Viper. Wrong buttons. Back aboard of Ackerman, who's got a very good tow, heading towards turn 1 on the exit of 14. Is he going to pull to the left-hand side? He is indeed, and pulls back in to the rear wing of the Lamborghini. But we're going to get a replay, because I want to see what happened. So, was it this replay? It was indeed. Not Viper Strikes, was just suffocating it involved. Oh, it's Darkness losing the back end again. Was going to the right, swung to the left, lost the back end, and collected Kelly and suffocating in that one. Hopefully the contact isn't that big between those 3, shall we say. Or they may struggle towards the end of this race. The Lamborghini missing his apex a little bit there, going a little bit wide, invites Ackerman to get a little bit closer to the rear wing of the Lamborghini. Try and get a switchback of Dreams, just isn't able to. Heading towards turn 12. Ackerman's trying to do whatever he's got in his will and power, try and get past the Lamborghini, but in doing so, the gap opens up even so more. Right then, with the Nissan back in P1. No, it's not. Yeah, it is the Nissan. With the Nissan in P3, it seems my thing has had a bit of a crash or a bit of an error, so hopefully it should fix itself shortly. There we go. In P1, Usby 1.1. So Usby's now completed and done his mandatory pit stops, so we could see these two potentially fight it out towards the end of the race. That's going to be something to keep our eyes peeled on. Spinner down in P19 now, right behind Kenzo to fight for P18 with Goodland down in P20. This sure could be a spicy fight. And as we know, Spinner, normally good for spinning, not spinning for the last 5 rounds, just getting involved in unfair, annoying incidents, which, yeah, he'll be kicking his leg at that one, 100%. Because I get what pain he's going through, because it's incident after incident after incident. And, you know, it can get frustrating sometimes and a little bit annoying, if I say so myself. But Ackerman trying to get past Julian, but that gap is now starting to open up. With 20 more minutes of racing to go, I don't see Ackerman potentially not getting by. Goes wide there. at turn 14, but so does the Lamborghini, who didn't get a great exit heading out of turn 14. However, the McLaren's going to pull to the left-hand side, down into turn 1. He's going to send it. Aggressive defending from the Lamborghini. That's what we like to see. That is racing. And the Lamborghini's still ahead. All this fighting is really helping Brown out, and he could gain 1 or 2 positions if they come together, or if they do what happened in F1 today for the sprint mini race, and we had a through-go Perez moment. If you didn't see it, I'd recommend watching the highlights on YouTube, because it was absolutely crazy. So what we need to happen is we need Ackerman to push the Lamborghini off, and literally Brown just go for the move. What we need to happen. Here we go. Ackerman was looking for the move at turn number 11. Trying to get a switch back. Isn't possible. Brown almost collecting them two together. Holy smokes. What you want? Not ideal. Was close. Oh, they're going to get wheel to wheel now at turn 1 down to turn 14. Turn 1 out of turn 14 is what I meant to say. But the Lamborghini still stays ahead, and actually Brown has a drive-through penalty. Oh my goodness. Oh, Brown will not be happy with that one. A drive-through penalty. Big F's in the chat. Big F. Big F. That's going to be somewhat frustrating for a few people, I'd say. Big yikes. Big yikes. What can you say? Top 2. The gap is now 1.8. So it's starting to open up. Ackerman, though, getting a very good exit at turn 14. And we could see the Lamborghini finally disappearing in the background. But could he go for a move at turn 1? He's going to pull to the left-hand side, pull back into the right-hand side. Not too sure where he's trying to go on track. We've got, I believe that's car number 95. Leaving the pit lane, I believe. Oh, that'll be Joe Viper. Teammates were suffocating. Down in P20. We'll get the blue flag very, very shortly and have to get out of the way and move out the way where he can in a safe position. Have to wait and see what he does. He backs off. Does it now. That's one done. There's Julian. Get by the lapped car next. Car pulls to the right hand side. Through goes Julian. Wilson in P7. That's where he'll want to be. Second half of this race going well for Wilson. Was stuck behind the Porsche, who's in the background, and that's going to be car number 15, known as Amar. This one's car 8. The car we're on about is right behind car number 8. Wilson stuck behind that car multiple laps, somehow finds himself ahead of both Porsches in P number 7. Which he will be very, very happy with. Right, so the leaders, their gaps are starting to slowly come down, and now the closest battle on track is between these three drivers. That's pretty much it, as Ackerman has managed to run away from Julian. About 2.6 is the gap between 6th and 5th. Ackerman trying to close down on Lilly for P4. Lilly trying to close down on Canton. Canton doing a very good job at keeping that gap bearable for now. Decent range, which is quite good for Canton. Some drivers having a very good race, some aren't having the greatest race of all time. Da, 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 da. We have more on-back... what am I trying to say? We have more on-track battles. My English just absolutely completely died there for a second. But we are here, we are alive. Don't you worry, chat. And those two now, we said on-track battles were going to happen and commence. We are seeing that right now between Kelly and P15. Ahead of him, car 97, out of turn 14. Has he got the straight line speed to commence and fight for this one? At the moment, looks like a big fat no. But they're going to keep the excitement going on and happening into turn number 3 and 2 we're getting to very, very shortly. And Kelly could have got that move done. He could have got it done, you know. He was looking quite confident, and he might try and go for it here at, I think it says 4 and 5 now. Heading towards 6. Both cars struggling for grip, it looks like, which is quite interesting. But we'll see where Kelly's going to go off track. That'll probably be a track warning, which definitely isn't ideal. Or maybe a non-verbal warning from the game itself. But we'll see what that could be. Kelly mowing the lawn today, it seems. Looks like that's what they want to do today. Mow the lawn. Right. Still not much happening on track. Just these two little mini battles in P15 and 14 going on, and now we've got AMR for P9, P8 and P7. They're all closely grouped together still. As that gap exceeds to 1.1 and then drops below a second. Back to A wants to be to optimal range to attack. But can he get by with 9 minutes of racing to commence here at Valencia? Is that going to be possible? There is only one way to find out. Keeping our eyes peeled, paid close attention to what happens. Like this. And he's quite close this lap. In Sector 2, chilling in Sector 2, making their way out of Turn 11, down to Turn 12. We'll be heading into Sector 3 now, with the leader behind these two drivers. Kelly, as the new blue flagged rule, will need to oblige and get out of the way as soon as possible, and make sure not to get in the way of Oosby on the exit of 14. There's Oosby. He moves out of the way. Nicely done there. You'll see he's lost a little bit of time to car 97, but we'll see if we can get it back. Right. We've got more battles happening on track. We've got more gaps happening as Arc getting very, very close to car number 886 for P number 11 now. And then we've got AMR starting to close up on Brown for P9. It's all happening on track. Absolutely what we love to see. Absolutely crazy. We love it here at Phoenix. You guys watching right now, absolutely loving it as well. Down into turn 1. And Arc not close enough to go for a opportunity of a move yet. But I must say, he's looked quite quick in Sector 1. We'll see. We're going to go on board of Brown now, currently in P9, a very good driver. Been very competitive this season. Bit of a challenge making his way through the grid. Right behind car 8, Oosby closing into P1 now, starting to put the pressure as we've got 6 more minutes to go racing here, so he wants to try and nav that P1. Gotta do it now. It's go, 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 go time. Foot to the floor and go. And like that, move done into 4 and 5 now. Up next is Wilson for P number 7. We go. Next on his hit list. Can he get it done? Going to the race leaders. Oosby right on the gearbox. So we see wheel-to-wheel action happening. I believe that's for P14 and P15. And Oosby really putting the pressure on now. Can he get this race win? Or will it be the Nissan taking it home once again, which is Lucas, who's been leading since lap 1. Take out the pit stop and everything else, but Done an awesome job to keep this lead. But Oosby could snatch it away. And we have Brown as well going for a move on Wilson at turn number 14. Better exit. Goes late, earlier on the brakes. Gets the better exit. And that's now P7. Snatched away from Wilson. And promotes Brown to where he wants to be. He'll try and run away now. If he could do this, this would be a very good finishing position for himself. So happy and delighted with that. Race leaders. And Oosby not really able to gain much at turn 1, but does gain quite a bit of time heading out of turn 2 and 3, then to 4 and 5. It'd be kind of like clutch if you can get the move done or not. He's got to really send it and go for it, really, is what he's got to do. He's just got to, you know, the car into gear. Send it for a move, send the Nissan offline, and then he's got the move done for P1 of this race. See what he does. Making his way now. Turn 12. No, yeah, 12. Past 13. Towards 14. He gets a very good exit. The Nissan straight away going to the left-hand side to try and break that toe as best as he can. Someone who's not going to be happy is car 886 down in P12 with a drive-through penalty. That will help out suffocating potentially up into P number 12, which he'll be very happy with. And yeah, very good for him. Nissan doing so much to keep ahead of the Ferrari of Oosby behind. It is scary how close those two are getting to each other, though. It is scaring me ever so slightly. We'll see what they can do, making their way now out of turn number 11. Oh, no, not 11. I keep getting myself mixed up in Sector 2. It's really starting to annoy me. Into turns 9 and 10. We've gone past there. 7 too far. Darkness is round. Out of turn 11 now. Heading towards turn 12. Car number 95 gets past Darkness. Darkness, oh my goodness! Sitting right there on the apex. Base of action, a void of action for P1 and P2. Darkness really needs to get out of the way because that is not a safe place to be stopped on the track. 110%. Does get himself going once again. That was a scary moment for the Nissan, also for Oosby. That could have ended in tears if one of those two got collected. Both going wide at turn 1. The gap is 4/10. Is Oosby going to be able to get this race win, like I keep saying, or is the Nissan going to snatch it away once again? Pit window is now closed, so if you wanted to box, I'm sorry to say, pits are now closed, you can't box anymore. And if I am correct, we'll be heading towards the last lap of racing here at Valencia, a one final time shootout between the Ferrari versus Nissan, making their way around at turn number 8 towards 9 and 10. Oosby needs to turn on the heat now if he wants to go for a desperate move. Or as you call it, a desperate lunge. Feathering the brakes ever so slightly. Look at that. The gap between those two is 0.7 of a second. And Oosby needs to start gaining in a straight line and get the toe. And never mind, the leader has finished. I didn't realise that the leader was on the last lap of the race. The game never told me. It's Lucas for P1, Oosby for P2, Canton for P3, making his way around the final corner. My apologies on that, folks. Like I said, I didn't realise the race was finishing and coming to a close and coming to an end. All three drivers in the background trying to get positions left, right and centre. We've got Wilson still trying to fight for P8 in the background. Those two haven't finished just yet. It's Porsche against Ferrari, making their way out of turn 11 down to turn 12. Can Wilson go for a desperate dive, for desperate measures and desperate matters? He could do indeed. The curb there biting him and pulling him back onto the track. That was a bit of a save there. But Wilson going to go for it. Trying to. Ain't close enough. Isn't going to be getting the move done. Is denied. P number 8, but will come home in P number 9. And Amar will come around the final corner to take P number 10. And then we're just waiting on P number 11 and P12. Car number 95 to come round 13, then 14, and that would be them done and dusted for today. And there you have it, folks. That is everything done and dusted for today. Your top 3, Lucas, Oosby and Canton. All done and dusted in a nice formation line. Julian flying by in that Lamborghini, racing for Bean's racing team. But there you have it. We are pretty much going to wrap things up for today, and we'll be back for round number 6 at the circuit of... what's the circuit again? Give me a second. Oh, we've got a car upside down. There's a kick car upside down in the pit lane. Holy smokes. I will find what I'm looking for, if I can find it. Ah, I know I need to go. I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place, chat. Calendar. Valencia on our list, done and dusted. Next on our list is Brands Hatch. Looking a bit of thundery weather. That could be an interesting one to look out for, folks. We'll go there for another 60-minute race around that wonderful circuit. It's been me, Mr. Flynn, for your commentating today. Any feedback, feel free to let me know in the Discord or in my personal Discord DMs. I'm always open for feedback or anything else. You guys have been wonderful. You've been fantastic. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.